Oh, we're getting some new information about the Marvels. Apparently the delay is rumoured to be down to behind-the-scenes drama with star Brie Larson. Now, I have speculated that this is because of bad test screenings and they're going to be doing reshoots. I still wouldn't be surprised if that is the case. I would say that actually some of this stuff corroborates with that in some respect, that if you have bad test screenings, bad footage, bad dynamic, bad chemistry, that could be because of drama. I just think that that's a pretty one and done thing. It's not a stretch that that could be the case there. Loads of people in terms of industry wise have been coming out and saying, well, actually it's because they need time to work on the VFX, which ordinarily I'd be like, yeah, of course that's the case. You know, Marvel VFX are shit. Of course that's the case. Why wouldn't they need more time to work on it? They're listening to people. No, like that's not going to be the case here. They don't need that much time to work on the VFX, and you don't push a movie from a summer release to an autumn release for any reason than to do some heavy work on it, because that's a top spot that you're missing out on there. Now this comes to us from Jeff Snyder. It is termed industry gossip, I guess you could say, but it's rumour, it's conjecture, it's interesting nonetheless, and it's not a stretch. I mean, a lot of this stuff, it is not a stretch. It's something which you can go, oh yeah, I can believe that actually. So like I said, this comes to us from Jeff Snyder over on the Hot Mic podcast. And just for a scene setting, it was going to release in July 28th, right? Again, summertime release. Big summertime release. And then they're like, we're just going to move that to November 10th. Amidst loads of other movies that are going to eat into this box office. You just wouldn't do that. It's movie box office suicide. It really is. But apparently this new rumour is, well, there's a significant amount more behind the scenes, basically. So shortly after the delay was announced, reports indicated that the movie was pushed back to allow more time for post-production. That's not going to be the case. That's just nonsense. And while that may be the case, again, I deny all of that. That's not going to be the case. Jeff Snyder has heard from individuals that that's not actually the main reason. So, Hot Mic podcast, Snyder said he'd heard that it's all to do with Brie Larson. So Brie Larson has not been the easiest to work with. Apparently, she's a nightmare. Yeah. And allegedly has clashed with co-star Teyonah Parris, who played Rambeau in WandaVision. Someone which she hasn't actually worked with before this movie, which is a really dumb decision from Marvel's perspective. Why you would... It doesn't make any sense. Why you would cut the movie, Captain Marvel 2, into a sort of ensemble piece, smash everyone together and expect them to have on-screen chemistry and things like this and make it work. That's not a surprise. So we don't exactly know how they are clashing. And the article is like, we don't know how this could impact the film's post-production process, because it's not about post-production. But Snyder suggested that there has been some diva-like behaviour behind the scenes. Which, again, it's not about the post-production. You've got to look broader than that. It's about the shots, the footage. It's about, going back for reshoots and having people being difficult. You've also got to remember as well, Brie Larson's going to be doing promo rounds for Fast and Furious 10 movie. And if she wants to make it difficult for Marvel, she will. And it sounds like she is making it difficult from this, if this is led to be believed. But apparently, Brie Larson wasn't happy that the sequel was titled The Marvels and not Captain Marvel 2, because she feels the franchise was originally built around her being cast in the lead role before any writer or director was brought on board. She's not wrong, actually. She's not wrong at all, just as an FYI. That's not a stretch at all. She's not wrong. It was built around her. I mean, the first one was Captain Marvel. It was built around Brie Larson. Whether that's good or bad remains to be seen, I guess, moving forwards. But she's not wrong. The franchise was built around her. And so everyone, it became a bit of a laughing stock when it came out and was like The Marvels, because everyone's like, what? Why? Disney told us this was a huge success, massive success. Why, pray tell, now then, are you scrapping Captain Marvel in the title and keeping just the Marvels. That's not what you do if a film is a huge success, because you want to capitalize on a brand. You know, yes, it's a sub-brand of Marvel, but it's still the brand Captain Marvel if it's a huge success. That's like having Captain America and then just writing it off and going American Squadron. You wouldn't do that. That's dumb. So yeah, interesting. She's not entirely wrong. I understand why she isn't happy. You know, maybe she was lied to. Maybe people have said, yeah, this was a huge success. She knew, you know, she was led to believe it was, and obviously behind closed doors, they're like, fuck, this is not good. We need to scrap this and create an ensemble piece instead. But yeah, clashing with Teyonah Parris, interesting. It's interesting because you're just smashing people together. They haven't worked together before, and you're putting them together in a massive Hollywood production. Yeah, like, it's not a given that it's going to be plain sailing. Now, again, get the post-production element out of your head. It's not post-production. It's all to do with reshoots. I guarantee they'll be going back for reshoots. Obviously, I can't guarantee, but you get my drift. Like, I have a strong belief that this is going to be reshoots. From what I've heard as well, it is a reshoot thing. And then there were some interesting snippets about Blade. So they say that Mahershala Ali is said to feel exactly the same way about the MCU reboot. Not overly sure what he's on about there, how he feels the same way. Maybe he's just been difficult, I guess. But anyway, interesting. This is actually a pretty reliable source. Jeff Snyder does do some reliable stuff here and there. So, interesting, nonetheless. And some of this stuff is just something which you go, yeah, well, I can believe that, because it was called Captain Marvel. It was going to be Captain Marvel 2. You scrapped that. You said it was a success. You've obviously would have told Brie Larson it was a success. You said that she was going to lead the MCU. She's not doing that anymore. The big, lofty promises that Kevin Feige made are not being met in real terms. So, what do you guys think? Let me know down below. Love to hear any and all of your thoughts. Hit subscribe. But yeah, this is apparently an epic disaster of just insane magnitudes. And again, remember, they've pushed it back from summer to autumn against other movies that will cannibalize its box office. This is box office suicide. They don't do that for any other reason than they absolutely must. So, not good.